Hi Vincent, how are you?
Good, thanks a lot.
The show is really awesome, and I wanted to get started with when you were like signing on for a project, did it appeal to you that it was a very real depiction of spies? Because it's not like Mission Impossible or something where all the action is over the top, but this is like very real. It feels like, yeah, this could really be happening.
Thank you very much. That's the whole point, really. And uh, and even just from an actor point of view, that's what I wanted to come across with. I wanted the thing to be gritty and real and these guys, people who are doing that kind of job, the one I'm doing in the movie, mercenaries, to say the word, are people that have been able to watch behind the curtain. And of course, their vision of the world is dark and pessimistic and cynical. So I guess to counterbalance that, you need to have a bit sense of humor and a bit of casualness. And so I've tried to make a character would portray these kind of paradoxes.
Yeah, absolutely. And your character gets beat up quite a bit, like
A lot.
surprisingly. I'm not, but yeah, he's like which is you often see like the main hero getting that put through the ringer. So how did you sort of approach playing Gabriel when you were first stepping into the roles? Like what was your viewpoint on his mindset?
I wanted to be normal. I wanted to be lonely because that's how they live. And this guy is more or less my age. And I guess at a certain point of your life, you realize that if that's all you've done in your life, you need to have somebody. And when you have this kind of life, you cannot have anybody in your life because otherwise you put them in danger. So it's a turning point for him. He wants to have a new life, but it's just not capable of that.
Yeah, and as you said, he can't have any, and you have this like unspoken um history with Allison and Eva Green, and so that's really weighing on you throughout the series, and you see it all come to a head in episode five. So, how does that kind of when you're playing with all these actors through every episode, well, you have this big secret with this one character, but all these you have to kind of play it opposite, where it's like, I have something that I'm withholding. So, what's just sort of your process like being that withholding as Gabriel?
But the thing is that you don't. I mean, I never really thought about it as a 6 episode series.
Mhm.
I worked on it like it was one big movie, and so the way they cut it is out of my hands. So I don't think about that while I'm shooting. I just have the
Mhm.
arch of the character. I think the main arch of the whole series is actually that impossible passion between them two. And it's the way they discover each other, and sometimes they let it go, and then they turn their back on each other. It's all about, as you said, the unsaid.
Mhm. Awesome. And I love you have like really, you and Eva have like this really intense chemistry. And that's like, that's not something that just like I don't know if it was actually, I don't know if it was like that. Was it like you came in day one and you guys clicked, or was it something that you guys had a conversation before shooting where it's like, hey, these are the characters and this is the relationship, or how that whole process developing that chemistry?
No, we've never really talked about it, because I mean, with some people, you don't really have to talk. And I was so curious and I wanted to work with her so much. She was one of the main reasons why I accepted the show, to be honest. That, when people are interested in one another, there is electricity, when there is curiosity and the pleasure to work together and to be on set together, things are happening. She's very instinctive. I am like that too as an actor. So, by the time we got on set, we were ready to rumble.
Awesome. No, you guys really are electric. And so you guys, there is a lot of action in this series too. The one scene that really springs to mind is when you're getting chased, I think in episode four. But was there a particular action sequence that stood out to you that you felt was more challenging than the others?
Well, on an action level, what was challenging is that I didn't want to be, the spy like we normally see it. I wanted to be more realistic than that. So, for example, what we decided is that I would choreograph. I would do the choreography of my own fights, and so I cut everything to make it drier, more efficient, more discreet, maybe not as visual, but with more effectiveness.
Yeah, yeah. There's very little hesitation, and then so like compared to you're in Jason Bourne, which is an awesome movie, and you and Matt Damon have so many great scenes together. So like compared to that character that you played, the asset, um, how did you want like? I mean, you've already talked about it a little bit, but did you use that as any reference points? Like this is not what I want to be, or is this who I might have been when I was younger, or something like that?
That's exactly what you said. It's like that's exactly what I didn't want to do. I really enjoyed working on Jason Bourne, and that was a type of movie that was a, you know, it's really Hollywood movie, and the fight never ends and everything. But that's the opposite. I mean, when the action takes over the story, to me there is a problem. I mean, this is less my kind of thing. There, I think the action is something on the perimeter. You know, it's not the most important thing. So we just do it blah, 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 fast, and we move to the next thing, like these guys do.
Hmm. Yeah, and so like when you have all these, because you're mixing a lot, like there's it's an unexpected amount of romance, there's a lot of drama, political intrigue, and then there's also the action. And so what part of the excites you the most when you're stepping onto set? It's like, oh, I have this dramatic scene with Eva today, or I have this romantic scene, or I have to fight people on a boat, or what's like piques your interest the most?
Well, the most pleasurable thing really is to act more than to fight, you know, and to run around. And I mean, the visual stuff, or I know they will look good at the end, so it's important to do them properly. But the most interesting thing, it's really when you enter a scene with somebody you respect and you don't know how it's going to work out, you see? And so on that, for that matter, I mean, everything I had to do with Eva was super interesting because I could feel the tension. I could feel that it was always subtle, and it was impossible. It was improvisable, you know. And that's, I mean, that's the thrill of being an actor, I think, more than the action thing.
Awesome. And I don't want to keep you too long, but when you're playing with like these kind of roles, would you have like because you've done comedy, you've done action, does like when you're shooting something that's like a 6 episode series, I know you said you approached it like a movie. Does that kind of help knowing like later on that hey, this is gonna be split up into 6 different parts? It's a 6 hour movie versus a 2 hour movie where you get to explore these characters a little further?
Well, the thing is that you can see when you read the thing that it's already developed in the script, so you can see that there's things that wouldn't fit in a 2 hour movie.
Mhm.
But once again, when you're shooting, you know, first of all, you don't shoot in order, as we know. So, you know, you come and it's all about the present, really. You know, what's the job of an actor is to be in the present, mostly. I mean, the people who say no, but I mean, 2 scenes ago, you know, there's a continuity person for that. You have to make the shot, even more than the sequence, you have to make the shot work. If the shot works, whatever happens before and after, it doesn't matter as much.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time, Vincent. I really appreciate it. I'm a huge fan. I love Bourne and the Ocean's movies and Westworld. It's really cool to talk to you, and I can't wait for people to see
Thanks a
Liaison.
lot.